was bullied so relentlessly that I had anxiety that I didn't know was anxiety at the time, and I didn't even want to go to school, and I hid during lunch when I was...
Tonight's headline: Blake Lively has petitioned a federal judge for treble damages, legal costs, and punitive penalties under California Civil Code Section 47(1). The filing is genuine, the stakes enormous, and the target unmistakably clear: Wayfarer Studios and director Justin Baldoni. According to court records, Lively's team submitted a new motion invoking Section 47(1), a law designed to protect those reporting harassment, seeking to hit Wayfair hard. Their argument claims that Justin and his partner acted in retaliation and that she should be awarded money swiftly. However, a closer look at the paperwork tells a different story. Within the motion lies a redacted declaration alleging verbal abuse by Justin Baldoni. It sounds explosive until the context is examined. The declaration refers to a separate project, not the set of It Ends With Us. That distinction is critical. If the allegation is unrelated to the film at the center of the dispute, the claim's foundation is immediately undermined. The filing also quotes Wayfair co-founder Steve Soyitz using dramatic language about dead bodies, though he clearly meant not physically dead. In plain terms, these were heated words rather than a threat. The document itself clarifies this. It is also important to note the timeline. In March 2025, the court dismissed Wayfair's defamation claims against Lively on the grounds of privilege, such as fair report and litigation privilege. This dismissal did not validate Lively's allegations. It merely confirmed that the statements were legally protected. In that context, a crucial difference. At present, Lively is seeking recognition as the prevailing defendant under Section 47(1) and a fast-track calculation of damages before her separate case goes to trial in March 2026. In other words, the aim appears to be punishing Wayfarer and Justin Baldoni, who is currently painted as a villain in the court of public opinion. Justin Baldoni's position, however, remains grounded in the facts and the work itself. The new filing leans heavily on redactions, recycled claims, and a declaration from an entirely unrelated project. The so-called smoking gun is therefore misleading. The declaration alleges verbal abuse on set. Strong words, but again, it is not linked to It Ends With Us. Lively's lawyers have pulled in an old grievance, heavily redacted, giving the media the opportunity to spin it as if it occurred on Justin's film. Court documents confirm that the declaration originates from someone who was not even involved in the movie central to this lawsuit. This is misdirection, not evidence. Furthermore, the filing claims this constitutes harassment, yet the redactions obscure essential context. Only the bold claims remain, exemplifying classic courtroom theater designed to generate headlines rather than establish facts. Justin Baldoni's record tells a different story. He has been widely praised for creating safe, inclusive sets. Even within this declaration, there is no evidence of threats or harassment, merely claims of negative interactions common in Hollywood but here weaponized for narrative effect. This is consistent with past behavior. Lively has previously been accused of subpoenaing creators and journalists covering her story, demanding private bank records, emails, and phone data. If that is not intimidation, it is hard to know what is. When this declaration is presented as harassment, the pattern becomes clear. Lively and Ryan Reynolds appear to leverage any document to cast Justin as an abuser, even pulling in unrelated projects and misleading the public. In reality, this is not evidence of harassment, it is evidence of desperation. Finally, consider the oft-quoted headline about a purported $100 million threat from Wayfair co-founder Steve Soyitz. While the claim sounds menacing on paper, the filing clarifies that Soyitz's words were not a literal threat, they were business frustration. Dead to me, not physically dead. Court records show that Lively and Reynolds have used a coordinated PR strategy from the outset, feeding press releases and legal actions to the media to shape perception. Soyitz stating he would defend his studio is practical, not threatening. Yet Lively's filing strips context, amplifies the most alarming phrases, and places them in court documents to generate sensational headlines. This is not a legal argument, it is media manipulation, a tactic previously employed when subpoenaing critics, dragging in personal data for leverage rather than justice. Every step follows the same pattern. Blake Lively's strategy seems designed to create a chilling effect, weaponize legal filings, and then run to the press to spin the story. Justin Baldoni, by contrast, has faced this circus head. He has not responded with exaggerated claims. He has not smeared Lively's family. He has remained consistent. Fight in court and let the facts speak. So, when the oft-repeated $100 million line appears again, the tactic is clear. It is not evidence. It is propaganda. It demonstrates just how desperate Lively's camp has become in their attempt to portray Soyitz and Baldoni as villains, even when the documents themselves tell a very different story. Lively's legal maneuvers now enter overdrive under California Civil Code Section 47(1). This statute was created to protect genuine victims of harassment and retaliation, giving them the right to speak out without fear of being buried in lawsuits. Yet Lively is attempting to weaponize that protection for herself. Despite having not proven harassment in court, the motion seeks three things: attorney's fees forcing Wayfair to cover her legal costs, treble damages multiplying the payout, and punitive penalties designed to punish Baldoni in the studio further. But to qualify under Section 47(1), she must demonstrate that she reported harassment in good faith, without malice, and with a reasonable basis. Court records make it abundantly clear that none of this has been established. The March 2025 dismissal did not validate her allegations. It simply confirmed that her statements were legally privileged. Privilege does not equal truth. This is why Lively's move is potentially dangerous. If successful, it could set a precedent allowing powerful celebrities to claim harassment, hide behind redactions, and demand millions all without proving a single fact. What was intended as a shield for survivors could become a sword for Hollywood elites. Timing further underscores the strategy. Lively wants the court to fast-track damages before her affirmative case even reaches trial in March 2026. The effect is clear. Cash out early, smear Justin publicly, and enter trial with the media already swayed against him. It is a classic Reynolds Lively playbook. Flip the law, spin the press, and crush opponents with financial might. Yet Section 47(1) was never intended for this purpose. It exists to protect genuine survivors, not to allow Hollywood figures to rewrite the script within a courtroom. If the judge sees through the maneuver, Lively's gambit could backfire spectacularly. Meanwhile, the battle is being waged outside the courtroom as well. While Justin Baldoni defends himself with evidence and legal filings, Lively and Reynolds are running a full-scale media campaign. Court records reveal the scope of their strategy, illustrating how law and headlines are being wielded as instruments of public pressure rather than justice. Blake Lively's team appears to have perfected a familiar playbook: leak filings, twist actions into shocking soundbites, and let mainstream outlets run with them. Every time a motion is filed, headlines appear the same day. Carefully crafted to make Justin Baldoni look like an abuser and wayfarer, studios appear corrupt. Take the March 2025 dismissal as an example. The judge did not rule that Lively was telling the truth. He merely stated that her statements were protected under litigation privilege. Yet, when the news broke, media headlines presented it as though Blake had been vindicated. That is the PR machine at work, turning a narrow legal technicality into a sweeping victory lap. This is not conjecture. Lively's filing even accuses Wayfarer of running a smear campaign online. Yet the only public-facing website Wayfarer created was .com, which simply posted publicly available court documents. That is transparency, not a smear. Meanwhile, Lively's side hides behind sealed filings, redactions, and sensational claims with no substantiation. The media strategy is equally telling. Major outlets routinely print Lively's accusations as fact, while Wayfarer's responses are buried, often relegated to a single quote at the bottom of a story. This is how narratives are controlled, not through truth, but through headlines. Justin Baldoni, in contrast, has taken the harder path. He has allowed the legal process to unfold, relying on evidence rather than theatrics. That is why Lively and Ryan Reynolds continue to escalate. They know the facts are not on their side, so they leverage media power to rewrite reality. But there is risk in this approach. When the truth emerges, when redactions are lifted, the media spin will collapse. The consequences will not be limited to the courtroom. It will be a public reckoning for Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds. By now, one fact is clear. Blake and Ryan are running out of options. Each new filing appears less a legal argument and more a desperate PR stunt, designed to bleed Justin Baldoni dry and tarnish Wayfarer's reputation. Consider the progression. Subpoenas targeting YouTubers and critics, demanding personal data such as bank accounts and emails. Then redacted declarations from individuals who are not even on the "it ends with a" set. And now requests for treble damages under a law designed to protect genuine survivors of harassment, without any proof that harassment occurred. This is not justice, it is retaliation. Court documents reveal exactly what Lively is seeking: attorney's fees, triple damages, and punitive penalties, all determined before her own trial begins in March 2026. The timing is no accident. The plan is to secure money early, dominate headlines, and walk into trial already positioned as the victim. Yet the filings themselves cannot obscure the truth. The case against Justin is paper. No witness from the "It Ends With Us" set has testified to harassment. The alleged $100 million threat, according to their own documents, involved Sarowitz stating someone was dead to me, not physically dead. The March 2025 dismissal did not validate Blake's claims. It merely confirmed that her statements were privileged. The cracks are showing, and the louder Lively's camp screams harassment, the clearer it becomes that there is no substantive evidence. This is why Justin Baldoni has not backed down. He knows the truth, and he knows that facts, not spin, prevail in the long run. The crucial question now is whether the court will see through Blake and Ryan's desperate maneuvers, or whether Hollywood star power will once again bend the system. Should this gambit fail, the fallout will be more than a legal loss for Blake Lively. It will expose her entire strategy as a calculated deception. At the center of this storm is not only Blake Lively, but the Lively Reynolds machine, a husband and wife empire built on carefully curated images, PR campaigns, and corporate influence. Court filings reveal that this image is beginning to crack. Ryan Reynolds is not a bystander. He is named in multiple filings as participating in a smear campaign against Wayfarer. It is no surprise, every move Blake makes, Ryan amplifies. Together, they have cultivated the image of Hollywood's golden couple, yet the documents tell a different story, one of intimidation, retaliation, and ruthless tactics. Remember the subpoenas aimed at content creators. These were not about protecting Blake, they were about silencing criticism. Court records show demands for bank accounts, phone numbers, and private emails. Ordinary people pulled